Listen, I get it. You know your stuff, you handle problems, you are clear, you're a professional, and yet sometimes it feels like people don't really trust your expertise. The problem isn't what you know, the problem is how you talk about the problem. There's one phrase in particular that's quietly working against you, even when you're right. And the worst part, you don't even realize it. Once you understand the psychology behind this phrase and why it creates the opposite reaction of what you intended, you'll never say it again. And more importantly, I'll show you how to flip the script so you can talk about problems in a way that enhances your credibility and expertise, builds trust, and positions you as an expert that people should listen to. My name is Sonia. I'm a former HR leader and talent coach. Welcome to my channel where we talk about workplace challenges, how to navigate difficult situations, and build a career that actually fits your life. I'm glad you're here. I hear in meetings a lot phrases like this. The prototype team didn't catch this in testing. I assumed it would be working properly. Design changed their mind last month of some of the requirements and didn't communicate that to us. Or the quality issue with the part lies with the vendor. That's why we're behind schedule. Or we didn't receive the specs in time. I am pretty sure you said a version of this in problem discussions in team meetings in the past, maybe last week. In your mind, you were very straightforward. You stated the issue, you identified the root cause of the issue, and you were very clear. And for you, this was a technical discussion on roadblocks. But here's the psychological trap you just walked into. While you're thinking that you very clearly stated the problem and the nature of the issue, everyone else heard it's not my fault. That person isn't solving problems. They're creating them. Not only do they not have the answers, they are the problem. Your brain, on the other hand, is running on an ancient survival script. A script that says, I need to fit in with my tribe. I cannot admit any kind of fault. I need the respect of my little tribe where I'm stuck for life. I cannot lose my status in this group. My option is to hedge. And for our ancestors, this made sense. But in today's business context, this instinct backfires badly. Instead of making you look competent and confident, it makes you look weaker and insecure and ultimately less powerful. When we deflect blame, we signal fear and uncertainty. And in the workplace, this weakens your position. Taking responsibility, even if it's not entirely your fault, is critical. It demonstrates a certain confidence. It shifts the focus from ego protection and self-preservation to what's the solution. That's why the most powerful people in organizations often say when something hits the fan, the buck stops here, I'm taking full responsibility. They're not saying this to appear weak. They're saying it because it has exactly the opposite effect. It makes them look in charge, in control, and strong. In a study analyzing 400 leadership promotions, the strongest predictors for success in these roles wasn't years of experience, it wasn't technical expertise, it was something called problem ownership behaviors. And before you think, well, I'm not a leader, nor am I aspiring to be a leader, hold your horses. Problem ownership isn't just about leadership roles. It influences whether you get a great assignment, a high impact project, and in the worst case scenario, it influences whether you're considered indispensable or somebody to put on a layoff list. So instead of playing defense, use this power move. Take ownership and reframe the situation as follows. In the case with the bad parts, instead of throwing the vendor under the bus and saying they need to fix it, say something along the lines of, I have identified a quality issue with one of our suppliers. I've documented the issue and I have some ideas for improving the current incoming inspection process. Instead of complaining that you sent an email and didn't get an answer, reframe it and restate it as, I'll set up a quick meeting to discuss this directly and establish a better communication for time-sensitive issues. See the difference? One response signals helplessness and frustration, and the other one puts you in control. It shows initiative and problem solving. Now, I don't need you to remember all the precise words. I have a template for you. There are 5 things that you can include in each of these reframe statements to make sure you cover all your bases. Here are the 5 things that you should include anytime you want to write or say something that says, not my fault, and make sure they include the following. Number 1, acknowledge your role. So you have to start with something I and not we. Do not deflect and make a bucket out of it. Say, I understand. I realize. Start with you as the actor. That shows self-awareness and that you recognize you had a contribution in this issue. 2, take ownership. You say, I could have, I should have, in order to demonstrate maturity and accountability. Number 3, present a specific action and a way forward. Say, let me or I will, my next action. Again, instead of we should be doing X, which is not specific, and it again takes you out of the ownership and the leadership role in this. You realize something, you created the plan forward, so state it that way. Number 4, build the future. This is the shit show we're having, this is the mistake we're dealing with, now we're going into the future. You could say something like, going forward, we will do X. This again shows your learnings and that you're part of the solution. People will trust you now that you can take feedback. Anybody who can demonstrate that they're able to learn from mistakes or errors or any glitches, problems, issues will be trusted to receive feedback. That's what makes you grow. 5, invite collaboration. We could bring others into this solution. I suggest we're scheduling a meeting. This keeps the focus not on the blame, but on the solution that is collaboratively executed on. When you structure your responses this way, you take full responsibility, not just for what happened, but you're adding the details of how it happened, showing a way forward. You transform a statement that previously signaled insecurity and helplessness into a statement of power and influence. You stay in control, you direct the narrative, you will be seen as the hero. Now, if you want to level up this power move, it could sound like this. I have identified 3 paths forward. Can I get your perspective on the trade-offs? Why does this work? Because it subtly shifts how you are being perceived. In this very slight change of consulting them on the trade-offs, you're showing that you are a critical thinker and you're wise enough to see the other person's expertise, but not put them in charge of the final say. So you're still in control. You position yourself as the final decision maker. Whether that's true or not, different thing. And that's what you're signaling. I'm willing to stand up and solve the problem with you, and I will execute on the solution. Your position will determine whether you have decision power or not, but this is how you should phrase it regardless of your level in the organization. What you learned today isn't just about polished communication. It's understanding the psychology behind trust, confidence, and perception of expertise. Here's your challenge. When something goes wrong tomorrow, next week, and it's probably the first email you open up, write out what your natural instinctual response would be. Are you stating the problem in a way that finds fault outside of your control? And reframe your statement. Use ChatGPT. Then watch what happens. See how people react differently to you. People lean in and focus on the solution and not the blame. Notice how differently they respond to you. Because this isn't about corporate games or job titles. It's about becoming the person people trust to navigate challenges. You've got this. Trust yourself. Try it out. And I'll see you in the next video.